Welcome to Cheongsong, South Korea, Stage 2 of the 2020 UIAA Ice Climbing World Cup. We're here to witness some of the world's best climbers do battle in the lead semi-finals. 100 athletes from 18 countries, aged from 16 to 51, have so far been vying for place in the semis. It's been the scene of some heated action. All week has been unseasonably warm. It's now 5 degrees here. Good for athletes, but not so good for the ice. My name is Quinn Cooper, and I shall be commentating throughout the semis, as well as tomorrow's speed and lead finals. Now, to the start lists. We'll look at the women first. First up will be Valeria Bogdan, first of many athletes from Russia. And then it's Haejun Kim from Korea. Shabnam Asadi is from Iran. And then it's Marion Thomas from France. Yulia Filativa, Vivian Labaril, Sun Ah Son, Chungmin Kim, Olga Kosek, Mai Kotaki, Enni Berkling, Wunwa Chung from Korea. Then it's Japanese athlete Haruko Takeuchi, Chaehyun So, Sina Gertz from Switzerland, Ekaterina Vlasova from Russia, and then it's of course from Korea, Unsun Shin, and then the none and only Maria Tolokanina from Russia. And then over on the men's side, first up is Alexander Karandashev from Russia, followed by the French athlete Nathan Clair. Min Chul Kim is next, followed by YOUNGHYE KWON, Nikolai Primarov, Liam Foster from the US, Chang Hyun Lee, Maxim Tolmalov, 5-time champion, Jonathan Brown, and it's Dmitry Grebenikov, Luna Ladevant, last week's gold winner, Yannick Glattard from Switzerland, Yonggon Lee, Alexei Dengin, Nikolai Kuzovlev, and it's Mohammad Reza Safarian from Iran, and then the young athlete Ilya Kuruchkin from Russia, and last to go up will be none other than Hyung Park. These semis are about to kick off any minute, so buckle up. It's going to be quite the evening of action. It's also extremely special to be here in Cheongsong. This is our 10th anniversary year. The first time we came here was in 2011. And back then, first athlete, some of the recognizable names might sound familiar. It was Hyung Park who took the silver, and the bronze who took, the bronze went to Maxim Tomilov. So we are looking now at the women, at Valeria Bogdan, young 19-year-old athlete from Russia. Very, very strong. She won the speed last week in Changchun, China. Doesn't traditionally do as well in lead. Her best performance is 11th in Italy. Let's see how she gets on. It's not just important to be a good climber. One has to be an extremely good competition climber. That means wrestling with the nerves. That means climbing when conditions aren't good. Maybe you're not feeling the vibes. So it's all about being able to perform in any conditions. Alexander Karandashev has also begun his climb, and the two will climb at the same time. Valeria Bogdan, very confident. She Valeria cracking on. Stepping now right for the slight traverse. Nathan Claire looks as though he's begun and already finished his route. I'll have to find out what exactly has happened to him. Meanwhile, Bogdan gets that solid underlip with the Stein. Nathan is shaking his head. As soon as I get some confirmation on what happened to Nathan Claire, I will share that with you. But it looks like his lead attempt in the semi-finals is over. Next up in the men will be Min Chul Kim. But Valeria Bogdan is hanging on for dear life. This is where all those hangs in training come in. And she has recovered. What a recovery from the young 19-year-old Russian athlete. She was a sigh of relief. Momentary sigh of relief. Because the difficulties are only just beginning as she is now the overhang section of this incredible structure. She has a little bit of a shakeout with the right arm. Allows to get a little bit of a recovery going. Is she going to have a shake with the left? No, she goes straight in to place the tool straight on that stone. Goes into Fig 4. The Fig 4, we see the athletes do it on steeply overhanging terrain. It just gives the stability that they need without being able to kick their feet in. It comes down to a personal preference thing. Some athletes like to kick their feet in, but it is more demanding on the upper body strength. The Fig 4 going from the Fig 4 to Fig 9 can also allow you to reach higher in the hold. But for a traverse like this, underneath the roof, it is the way to do it, and we'll probably see all the female athletes using this technique. So we're just getting word that there's a broken hold on the men's route, and so that's a The more efficient place to clip is when that quick draw is at waist height. So she's just reached up and got that hook, this little side hook there. It looks more solid than it is. Earlier I was given a tour of the route setters treasure pool of all the different holds, and oh no, it's over for the very young athlete Haejun Kim. Reached clip 6, her first appearance in a semi-final. I was just saying the clips holds are not very secure. Look more secure than they are. Looks like so athletes have a minute to get ready. That's designed to prevent them from spending too long from eyeing up the route. They had the observation period, and that is all they're allowed to study the route. It's a very important time. Most of them take notes. They look at the holds with binoculars, and then they try and sequence the moves in their head when they're back in the isolation zone. So she's about to begin. Grabs the tools, looking very confident. Both men and women have 7 minutes. It's not a speed event, but the clock is ticking. So here she is, Shabnam Asadi, in the spotlight. She makes her way up the women's semi-final route here in the World Cup in Cheongsong. Just to give you a very quick update on the men's route, officials are still looking at the situation of a broken hold and still fixing that. As soon as that is resolved, the men's will continue. But all eyes at the moment on Shabnam Asadi from Iran. And she gets that small stone hold and gets tip number 3. Still a long way to go before she can better Valeria Bogdan's performance. Tool goes in the mouth and she gets clip number 4. Looking very, very self-assured. Amazing footwork. Get a sense there of the hold. You've got to get the pick. It's just the end of the pick. If you go too far back, it's very unstable. So you really want to place just the front of your pick there on those holds. Very steady, very self-assured, getting that small hold with the left, matches with the right. Can she get number 6? So the route is designed to be easy at the start, but it's designed to ease the climbers in before the real fun begins and the steeply overhanging terrain takes over. Allows herself a little bit of a shake before that begins. It's very important to do that as she steadies herself psychologically to take on the next section of the route. just reaches up and doesn't quite get that hold. Shakes out the right. She's going to move her feet a little, just to get a little bit closer. It's quite a swing that she's got to take from that undercling. Doesn't quite have the security of a Stein, which is when the... So, Nathan Clair is preparing to take his chance in the semi-finals. French athlete was the first French athlete in a long time to win 2 podiums last year. He's got a minute to get himself ready. Shabnam Asadi. Hanging off the right, she's trying to get, battling to get that left hold, and gets it, sticks. Moves the feet across, gets the weight. The body tension is something else here. It's so important, particularly in this route. Goes into the fig 4. She's at clip number 7, but the clock is ticking. Still about 3 minutes left for her. While Nathan Clair has begun his ascent. Hangs off that very solid Stein. The Stein is where you hold the axe upside down on an undercling, and it's very, very secure if strenuous on the upper body. Just moves across onto that second Stein there. Shake out of the right arm. Holding there, trying to... The Nathan now has just made a good progress on that first section of the route. Reaches now beyond where that broken hold was. He's got the tool in his mouth and reaches up high with the right. Kick up, lots of cheers from the French, shouting "Allez, allez, allez!" Round of applause as he gets clip number 4. Nathan is certainly one of the up-and-coming stars of the French team. Only 23 years old. Got 2 podiums last year, silver in China, and also a bronze in Italy. Last weekend in Cheongsong, China, he had a disappointing 7th, slightly overshadowed by the performance of the Ladavant brothers. Let's see how he can get on. Swaps hands to make that 5th clip. They're not moving particularly fast, the athletes, a sign that these routes are difficult. It's always a challenge for the route setters to get it just right. Sometimes they can set what they think is a super technical and difficult route, and all athletes find it easy. On other times you can have a situation where they think they've set something relatively straightforward and it's super hard. But the French athlete is making steady work of it as he reaches up high with the left. Possibly got the best number of all the athletes, Nathan Clair, 007. So, the Iranian athlete is off. She was looking tired. She ran out of, looks like she ran out of time there on that roof. But Nathan Clair battles on. Just tries to get her breath back, Shabnam Asadi. She just didn't get that 11th clip, so high will be, looks like it'll be the 10th quick draw. As always, you can check the results yourself live as they are updated. The website address is uiaa.results.info. Nathan Claire, France, meanwhile making steady work of the men's semi-final here in Cheongsong, South Korea. Hangs off the left arm. He's incredibly strong. We were watching him train in Seoul in one of the gyms there. An incredibly strong athlete. Gets into the swing to make that next move. Very firm kicks with the feet. You really need to kick in hard with the feet to maintain that body position. Next up on the women is MARION, another very promising up-and-coming French athlete, fresh off a victory in Cheongsong, China, where she took the bronze and was ecstatic about that. She is looking very, very strong and self-assured as she begins her finals. Nathan Claire is looking very strong as he tries to surmount that overhanging section. Foot just came loose there. He's done well to recover. Reaches high with the right. First attempt. Gets it with the second. Just tests it as he steps over. So strong, this athlete. Really, all that training comes into its own here. The anaerobic threshold is, oh, a costly mistake, and he's just popped. He shrugs, he waves an arm in the air as if to say he's happy with that. Are we going to see? He's happy. Big, big cheer for the Frenchman from the crowd. He reached the 12th number clip, which will put him into first place at the moment out of 2 athletes. So he set the bar for the others to follow. MARION Thomas, meanwhile, gets the hook with the left and is making steady progress. MARION was so happy from her bronze last weekend in China. Engineering student from Grenoble. Last weekend was the first podium for French girl since Stephanie Moreau back in 2012. And the French are looking very, very strong. Could they soon begin to challenge the dominance of the guns? Let's see, anything can still happen on this world tour. Over on the men's side, we have Min-chul Kim from Korea, one of 11 Korean athletes taking part in the semi-final. Kim is another rising star, and it's his first time on the tour. MARION Thomas in the room. Also a very, very strong athlete. It's incredibly intense. She's on the fig 4. Tries to steady her body position to make the necessary move up Gets into the fig four. Reaches over with the right. Such a strong athlete. She was also training hard in Seoul this week. Looking very confident. Matches with the left, kicks up with feet. And it's over for the Korean. Min Chul Kim is off. Marion battles on. Can't get the feet. Hanging just by one arm there, manages to shake out the right. She's struggling. And she's off. She was battling there and just couldn't make that right hand move. She's looking exhausted. Undoes the chin strap. The next woman to go up after Marion Thomas will be the Russian Yulia Filatova. She's a former youth champion who came 10th in China. But for Marion, whether that is enough to go into the finals will have to remain to be seen. Side now, we have Younghye KWON about to begin his semi-final attempt. One of the older athletes, he is 47 this year. Younghye KWON. Few athletes have as much experience as this Korean. He was 5th last weekend in Cheongsong. Interestingly, he didn't start climbing until he was 28. Just goes to show this isn't a game just for the young athletes. He's one of several athletes in their 40s who are competing at a very, very high standard. So Filatova has begun her ascent, moving very swiftly up to clip number 3 as Younghye KWON reaches up to that first section. Being very self-assured with the body tension. Not an ideal hold that at all with the left. He makes it look straightforward and stands up, both hands on the tool. Most have 2 holds, but several of them have 3. It looks like his has got 3 holds, positions where you can hold the hands. Gives a few more options when you're climbing. Gets that small right. Tool in the mouth to make that all-important quick jaw, number 4. Very delicate climbing here from the Korean. She pulled out the left hand with a little bit abruptly, almost set him off balance. You have to be so careful. Just be very, very gentle, delicate. These are routes that you can just muscle your way up. It's all about agility, balance, and body tension. Just pushes in the rope with the thumb there. It's quite a technique to get to be efficient with the quick draw. It's so important not to waste time and energy. And you do towards the end of the routes when athletes are pumped, they're tired. They can struggle to make the placement. YOUNGHYE KWON just changes the tool position there with the help of his team. Shakes with the right. Now moving steadily up, gets the feet high. So important just to get the feet high before moving, making that next move. It's a big reach that he's got to do. Gets a side undercling, decides against it. Nope, he's going to change his position. Not happy with either. Very insecure placement. He's going to go back to the side pull. That is the lesser of two evils for the Korean athlete. Still looking very self-assured and confident. Yulia Filatova, meanwhile, has got to the roof. She's got to draw 8 and is now switching, trying to find stability in order to make the move. Not an easy position to hang around in, but it allows her a little bit of a rest. Just made a slightly half-baked attempt to get that hold on the left that she's got to reach. She's going for it with the right. Can she get the hook? It sticks. She has to move carefully now. Hangs off. It's still good. Kicks up very firmly with the left. And into the fig 4. But it's YOUNGHYE KWON who is upside down himself on this roof section. Still some way to reach the high point of French athlete Nathan CLAIR, and he will be thinking now, hoping that he can surpass that. Not ideal at all. The quick draw is swinging from side to side. That does make it so much more difficult, but he steadies it and he makes the clip. Manages to waste no time at all during that. That's just a sign of his experience, and immediately goes straight through to the next hole, which he gets. Into the roof, traversing over. This is where the difficulties really begin. The pump has begun. Shakes out the left. Can he shake out the right? Gets the hold with the left. The fig 4. Is he going to match Nathan CLAIR? Both hands, tool in the mouth to get that next high point. Now, has he got it? You have to be very careful with the placement. In the briefing beforehand, athletes were warned that there are certain no-go zones on a hold, and they cannot put the pick anywhere but on the correct area. If it's painted red, it's out of bounds. Filatova is off, and so is YOUNGHYE KWON. KWON is off, just as he struggled there to get that 12th clip. Filatova is off as well. Just struggled to clear the roof section of the route. So KWON there shakes his head. Filatova exhausted, completely pumped, out of breath. Her semi-finals is now over. It looks like she timed out there. We'll have to wait and see whether that is enough to secure her place in the finals. She lost her grip there. So next on the men is Nikolai Primarov. He looks psyched. Warms up. Very, very strong competitor. Originally from Russia, but now based in Switzerland, where he is a laser engineer. He stood on the podium before, so anything is possible. He's achieved a third in SAS and a second in Rabenstein in Italy. And he's currently third in the European Cup. Meanwhile, over on the women, it is Vivian Labaril from Switzerland. So it's the two Swiss athletes going head-to-head together, climbing up on their semi-final. There is another female Swiss athlete still to come, as well as another male Swiss athlete. But it's Nikolai Primarov now, who's looking to make his place in the finals of the 2020 UIAA Ice Climbing World Cup here in Cheongsong, South Korea. Remember to check out our social channels, where there's loads of content at UIA Mountains. Some highlights from last week in Changchun. Subscribe to our YouTube channel as well to make sure you don't miss any upcoming live broadcasts here in Cheongsong, South Korea, where the sport is taken so seriously. It's extremely popular. It's not uncommon for many athletes to have their own gym. Hyung Park and YOUNGHYE KWON both have gyms in Seoul. So it's a really thriving scene here, and it's a big sport as well, followed by many spectators. And there's quite a gathering here this evening. Quite the place. People have been climbing these waterfalls here since 1975. But this structure has been in place now since 2016. So Nikolai Primarov, Swiss athlete, making steady but slow progress, I was about to say, until he just came off on the fourth clip. So he will be very disappointed with that performance. He looks up to see what went wrong, looking to the gods perhaps to provide an answer. Very awkward side hold with the right. He got the left, but it just wasn't in the right position. You've got to weight the tool in exactly the right spot. If you've got it off even just by a centimetre, even a few millimetres, it's gonna pop. So we are now looking at Vivian Labaril, and she's fighting to get that hold. She's had several attempts now. She needs to slow it down and shake out and be a little bit more slow and more methodical if she is to hope to stand a chance to get that hold. A little bit of a shuffle with the feet, and she's got it with the left. Sometimes athletes have to just have a word with themselves, a little quiet word, calm themselves down. Adrenaline is not your friend. You need to get the heart rate down, stay calm, and that's not always easy when you've got a tool in your mouth. So on the men, after Nikolai Primarov, is the young American hotshot, Liam Foster. There are many competitors here tipping him as a hopeful. Has to be said, many of them on the American team itself. He's just 19 years old and extremely strong. But it's Vivian Labarille, who goes into that undercling. You get a spare moment, and she probably won't thank me for saying this, but you can check her out on Ninja Warrior. She was a contestant on the Swiss episode of the show. She didn't do very well though. It was very funny. She, ironically, it was on one of the sections that demanded upper body strength, and she swung over and then plopped in the water. But she's a great character, and she's putting a lot of character into this climb. Very strong. Has she got it? Is it good? As an athlete, when you get that hold, there's often you will see them doing a little shake, just to pull on it, just to test its bomber, its secure, before committing to the hold, which she does effortlessly into that fig four to make the next quick jaw. We've also got to give a big shout out to her boots. Their bright pink boots are probably the sexiest of all the female athletes here. You can always spot her from a mile away. So into the fig 9, that's same hand, same leg. Switches to the fig 4, back to fig 9 to shake out the right. Really quite the acrobatic display to get under this roof. So far, only Valeria Bogdan has cleared it. But even Valeria Bogdan did not quite go all the way. She only got to clip number 12. But Vivian Labarille still fighting. This is her only chance to make the finals in tomorrow's World Cup. Get a sense here of just how strong these athletes are, just hanging off one arm. But she's off. Spoke too soon. The strength just run out of the Swiss athlete, and she's not happy. Not happy at all. She was doing so well. It looked like she might have passed Valeria Bogdan's high points, but she allows herself a little smile to the camera. And finally, an exhale. Let's see if that is enough to book her place into the finals. She certainly got number 11. Did she? I don't think she certainly didn't get number 12. Gets the jacket, and that will be her. So she was in the fig 4, tried to hang off the right, and this often happens. There's just no strength left, no juice left in the tank. But it looks like there's plenty of juice left in the tank of Liam Foster from the US, part of this new American crew who are really taking the scene by storm. They're a little bit off the pace when compared to the Russians, but it's great to see this emerging talent. And if not this year, certainly in the years to come, it looks like if this American team can develop, they could be contenders for the crown. No one more so than Liam Foster. Meanwhile, the women, it is Sun Ah-son from Korea, who has just begun her ascent. Liam Foster. Studies physics and maths back home. I think he's about to give us a masterclass in defying the laws of gravity. Underneath this roof. But in his armory, he is possessed of some extraordinarily strong guns. A very, very strong athlete who's climbed some of the hardest dry tooling routes in the world, which you can probably tell as he makes easy work of that overhang and goes into the fig 9 and gets the clip. Little shake out with the right hand. It's not just the arm that develops lactic acid. You need to give the hand a shake from time to time. The grip is so important. He's not quite happy. Just changes position just to give himself a little bit of a respite. Meanwhile, Sun making steady progress on clip number 5 on the women's route. The Americans are cheering Liam Foster as he seeks to improve Nathan Clair's high point. Makes a reach, it sticks it. He's got it. Every hold now counts. He will need to call upon all his reserves now as he gets the 10th. I think that was Corey Buhe we just saw there. One of the American athletes cheering him on. He's got the strength, Foster. He's got youth on his side. One thing lacking is experience. But he is making a very impressive... I wasn't sure there whether he was shaking out his arm or cheering, willing his teammates to cheer him on. And it's all over, but he's happy, he's very happy. Arm in the air for Liam Foster from the US. Got the 11th clip. It might be enough to see him into the finals. We shall have to wait and see. The high point to beat is a Nathan Clair's 12. And it looked like he only got the 11th clip. So over on to the women's side, we have Sun from Korea. First time at the World Cup. And other athletes come from the competition scene. So she does have something of a advantage of being on home soil. It's always a psychological boost when you're competing to your local fans. But also, more crucially, she will be familiar with the ways and means of the Korean route setters. So over on the men's side, after Liam Foster, is Cheong-hyun Lee from Korea, making a racing start. But it's his teammate, SUNGA Son. Eleven Koreans in these finals, both men and women, semi-finals, excuse me. We shall have to wait and see how many will go through to the finals. She's just struggling a little bit to get that quick draw, but makes it in the end. Crucially, making very good progress for this young athlete. Koreans have big cheer from down below. The audience are going wild. If she gets the next clip, she will go into the lead. Yulia Filatova currently has the high point in the women, followed by Valeria Bogdan. No one has yet made the 13th clip. Can she do it? This young Korean. And with that clip, she now moves into top place. But remember, the starting orders are always in reverse order. So the highest placed athlete from the qualifiers will begin last. And there's still an awful lot of talent yet to start on this women's semi-final route. Among them, some of the finest athletes this sport has ever seen. Athletes like Maria Tolokanina and Un Sun Shin. And it looks like she may have timed out there. But what a performance there from the Korean athlete. She will be very, very happy with that. She's just trying to untie herself. Most of the time they're helped to untie. Often you're so pumped you can't even undo your own figure of 8 knot. So she got that crucial 13, got the stone with her right, and just came off. That's her semi-final over. On the men, it's Cheongsong Lee. He needs to get beyond the 12th clip if he wants to move into the lead. Gets the side hook there with the right, maintains that body position, just allows him to get the feet just a little bit higher before committing to this next right hand move, which he effortlessly gets with the right. Quite a big lower grip there, allows him to get both hands on that lower grip. You'll notice that most of these tools, in fact, have some element of customization. They're very different to your regular ice climbing tools. For one thing, they're much longer. They're 50 centimeters in height. That's the maximum they can be, which is about 5 centimeters longer than an average kind of ice tool that you buy in a store. Just allows them a little bit of extra reach. But the disadvantage is it means it can be more strenuous. So Lee hanging off both arms there before committing to that move. A move he will have practiced many, many times, but just seeing on the women's side that it looks like SUNGA Son is off. Lee still there on that roof. Into the fig four. Swings over to get to, just got to stick that very small hold onto the left. So Chung-Min Kim, just her route ended all too early for there. So next up will be Olga Kosek on the women. Meanwhile, we have Cheongsong Lee from Korea looking to get his place in tomorrow's finals in the UIAA Ice Climbing World Cup here in Cheongsong, South Korea. And if he's to stand any chance, he needs to get this next move. And he sticks it. Commits to the next few moves. Into the fig four to stabilize his position to get that 10th quick draw. And that is so important to accrue points. You've got to make the quick draw. So over on the women's, It's Olga Kosek from Poland, who is having a storming start to the season, given that she was suffering from, she had major shoulder surgery last year, and much of the summer she was off. Lee's off. It looks like the timer may have run out there. Wave to the cameras, he's happy with that. A reminder that for both men and women have just 7 minutes to complete the climb. 7 minutes to get as high as possible on a route that's designed to be as difficult as possible. It's all about finding out who is the best climber of them all. But of course there is an element of timing. You've got to be quick, you can't hang around, because if more than one athlete reaches the top, it is the speed that determines your results. And the quicker time, obviously, is the winner. Olga Kosek from Poland, 28 years old. And she will be very happy because she came 10th in Cheongsong last weekend, and she wasn't sure if she would be able to perform at all this season. Major shoulder surgery last April. She was off for much of the summer. Just reaches up to get that hook, gets it on the second, still in there, still looking good. And then in the autumn, she allowed herself some easy rock climbs. That's climbing sort of 6A, which for your average Joe is kind of hard climbing. But for her was really pretty straightforward. She was in the Dolomites, an absolutely stunning part of the world. Gets the next hook. Just wraps the pick around the edge. But still, you're still only on the front of your pick. You don't want to get it too close, otherwise you'll lose all stability. Olga Kosek moves up into the 4 to get that undercling. Super strong Stein move, it's called. Super bomber. Meanwhile, over on the right, we have none other than the man called Maxim Tomilov. Now, if you're new to the sport, let me introduce you. This is the 5-time world champion. He is the most successful ice climber on the world tour ever. Only Hyung Park has come close with three world cups, excuse me, 3 world titles. But this Russian is one of the most experienced athletes on the circuit, and he is an absolute joy to watch. So if you've just tuned in, your timing is awesome. And despite competing for almost 2 decades, he's still only 34. He's one of the few athletes as well who was here in the inaugural Cheongsong World Cup back in 2011, 10 years ago, where he took the bronze against Hyung Park, who took the silver. What a reign those two have had. Just seen Olga Kosek has come off, but Maxim Tomilov is still looking very, very steady. He is gifted with exceptional footwork and agility. Just nearly clipped the wrong side of the rope. They nearly grabbed the wrong end. Athletes have to be very, very careful they reach the upper end of the rope. If they reach too low, the part of the rope that is beneath the quick draw, you can have what's called a Z-clip situation, and that is not a situation you want. You have to sort it out. So he's just hanging off that side pull and is able to just hold himself up high to get that right pick into position, which allows him to kick his feet up. Very sweet move there, just hits the leash of the quick draw, gets it into a swing so that it comes to him. What a professional. It's a joy to watch. He hasn't won here in Cheongsong since 2015, so he will be looking to change that. To do so, he will need to improve the high mark of Nathan CLAIR. Just hangs off the arms there, slowly considers his position. If you're Maxim Tomilov, you can do that. If you're another athlete, you probably can't. Meanwhile, just seeing on the left, the women has resumed. It's Mei Kotaki from Japan who's started her route. But Maxim Tomilov, all eyes are on this Russian. Didn't compete last year because he was setting routes for us. And that possibly can have only given him an advantage, an intuitive understanding of the mind of the route setters and what is required. Matches the right tool with the left. You don't often see athletes make that move. More common, you see them place one tool and just match the hand. Reaches up very high to get that 11th clip. That hold just above the 11, it's a stone. So on the left, we have Mei Kotaki from Japan, one of the young Japanese athletes, 22 years old. It's her first time on the tour. She came 14th in China last week, and she will be looking to improve on that. Maxim Tomilov, 5 times world champion. 2012, 2014, 2015, 2016 and 2018. Will he be a 6th in 2020? The clock is ticking. He gets that hold and he will be happy to have got that and looked so secure, and in doing so it looks as though he moves into pole position above the high point of Nathan CLAIR. So far, no athlete has got beyond the 12th clip, so if he's able to get the 13th, he will move into the lead. Can he do it? And hello, pole position for Maxim Tomilov. Oh, and it's all over for him. It looked like a wild lunge up to that high point after such a self-assured performance leading up there. It looked as though he just took one last swing just to accrue a couple of extra points. But he's happy. There is a thumbs up. So he had that right. Really went for a wild, almost uncharacteristic lunge with the left. Nowhere close. But he looks pretty happy with his performance. And if you head over to UIAA.results.info, you will see that he will shortly go into the lead. Meanwhile, on the women's side, we've got Mei Kotaki. May actually means May. She was born in the month of May, 22 years ago. And she has arrived at what is proving to be the crux of this women's route. Few of the girls have managed to clean this section. Very, very demanding. And she just has a little shake out the arms before getting that left hand tool into position. She's holding it in the reverse style, which just allows a longer reach. Notice her tool has 3 grips on it. Not usual to see that. Most athletes seem to prefer just 2 placements for the hand. All down to personal preference. He swings over, effortlessly going for those fig 4s to fig 9s. Yet to see any athlete try and take this front on. Not moving so fast. She will be wanting to crank things up a little bit if she's to stand a chance of moving up through the rankings. Time to beat for her, the athlete to beat, is Sunga Song, who reached the 12th quick draw. And she is so close. Over on the men's, we're just seeing, it looks like Jonathan Brown's semi-final has come to a very, very premature end. Unfortunately for the Swiss athlete, it looks like it's all over for him. Kotaki looking strong as she goes for that roof, but Jonathan Brown is disappointed with that. Very young athlete, disappointed, shakes his head. Did not get as far as he wanted to at all. But meanwhile, it's looking good for Kotake. If she can make this 13th clip, and she just lost the footing of her leg, she did very well to recover there, and she's got it. So if she can move above and beyond this 13th clip, that could take her into the pole position. And she's running out of strength. Does well to get the Stein, secures her position. Looking very strong. Look how effortlessly she does that into the fig 9, back into the fig 4. Makes the next hold there with that stone, with the right, matches hands with the left. And big cheers there for the Japanese athlete, Mei Kotaki, who should go into the lead with that performance. Look at that, big smiles from the young Japanese climber. So she had the Stein, looked like she couldn't get her right arm, her right leg over to make the 4. So on the right, we have the man mountain that is Dmitry Grebennikov, 6'4" Russian bear. Making those long reaches will not be a problem for this athlete at all. But it's not just about the long reach. In some ways it can be a disadvantage, as some of the athletes found in Cheongsong last weekend. If the holds are a little bit too close together, it can make it a little bit challenging and strenuous for you. Meanwhile, on the women, we have, from Finland, Enni Bertling about to begin her route. But all eyes, for now, are on the Russian, Dmitry Grebennikov. Now, he's not usually a podium contender. Very often he gets the top 10, but don't often see him in the top 3. He was 10th last week. Let's see if he can better that performance. He's had about a minute and a half since he started. He's not quite happy with that right hold. But then again, not many climbers would be happy with it. Security is not a watchword of these holds. Very insecure in their nature. And you've got to get the pick in just the right place. The precision is so important, the accuracy. But that long reach of his does allow him to make clip number 6 quite early on. And then get the undercling with the left. With that 2-meter wingspan of his. But his size can be a disadvantage. Extra weight is not what you want. And when you compare him in stature to some of the smaller athletes like Mohamed Reza Safdarian, there is definitely no advantage to be gained by being extremely tall and extremely strong. Matches hands there. Still, he's making good progress here. In the semi-finals here on the second stop of the UIAA Ice Climbing World Tour. Later this month, we will be in Saas-Fee, which is always an epic, spectacular. Grebennikov reaches up, gets that right, tool in the mouth, and then he just needs to adjust the feet. You've got a good view there, just seeing how the tool can skate off so easily, but he manages to secure its position before committing to the swing. Meanwhile, over on the female side, we have Finland's top athlete Enni Bertling, 41 years old, 9th in Cheongsong last weekend, which was a bitter disappointment for her. She didn't qualify for the finals, just missed out. So she will be super psyched to try and make the finals. This is it. This is her chance. But to be successful, she has to clear this very awkward, very strenuous roof. First, she's got to get there. First up is the Stein move. The Stein is the one that's the upside down hold, very secure but strenuous. And then as you move up it, the head of the axe lifts from the back of the wall, which means it can wobble a little bit. So your core body tension needs to be so strong. The core stability. Cranking out sit-ups won't help you at all. You'll find a lot of these athletes for training, they're doing moves like levers to stay fit. Oh no, and Enni Bertling, she has just dropped her tool. It's over. It's over for her. It's very questionable whether that will be enough to get her into the finals. Her time in Cheongsong could well be over. A lack of emotion from the Finnish athlete. Are we going to see a smile from her? Perhaps a begrudging one. But she would have hoped to have gone further on that route. No, she is not happy. Not happy at all. So she was on the right. just struggling to get in the fig four, and the tool fell out of her mouth. It can happen. What a blow for the Finnish athlete. Dmitry Grebennikov, while we've been looking away, he has stormed ahead on this route up to the 12th clip, which means he is in the top grouping of athletes. But he is almost certainly down to the last minute now, so the clock will be ticking for him, and he will need to move very fast to get higher, and he is off.
So now for the next performance, we would like to welcome athletes and top of the farm from Republic.
So Grebennikov got clip number 12. As always, you can check the results yourself. Bit of a kiss to the cameras, he's happy, at uiaa.results.info. Just didn't quite get it. He will be happy. So there are 6 Korean women in the semi-finals, and this is one of them, YOUNGHYE Chung, who's making steady progress up this first section of the route. She's one of the older athletes of the team, 40 years old, and interestingly, she was also one of the few athletes who competed here back in the first edition, back in 2011. This year we're celebrating the 10th anniversary. It's the 10th edition this year. She took part way back in 2011, where she came 4th. So she was 10th last year. She's one of these athletes that tends not to travel so much, just does the local career stop here in Cheongsong. So she will know this venue intimately. She will know the holds intimately. She's got that experience. Youth versus experience. Now it's all just kicking off on the men's side. We have last week's gold medal winner, Luna Ladevant from France. He's looking to make a flying start up there. He will be super psyched. The first French gold medal winner since 2002. And it looks like he means business here in Cheongsong. Some of the athletes were reporting that last weekend in Changchun, he was so psyched, he was giving war cries in the isolation zone, giving it some screams and some shouts. That's his teammate Annabelle Bouchardon, one of the youngest athletes here. Didn't qualify, unfortunately, for the 17-year-old. But Luna Ladevant, 19 years old, waving the flag for France. And it was wonderful to hear the Marseillaise on the podium being played last weekend. Will it be played again? Will the French unseat the Russians and challenge the traditional Russian dominance in this sport? Oh, it's a wobble on the feet. He is not happy, he is very angry indeed. It's proving tricky, this route. It is difficult, it is not easy at all, and the fact that such an experienced and such a brilliant climber as Luna Ladevant can just pop so early on is proof that these holds are evil. They are not easy. So he got the right, he thought it was secure, he steps up with the feet, just shuffles, changes his position, tool in the mouth, and it just wasn't secure enough, and it just ripped. Meanwhile, over on the women's side, YOUNGHYE, her route is over as well. She got up to about the 6th clip. And she just came off fairly early as well. A lot of athletes are falling early here. It would seem that this is on the technical side, and it'll be very interesting to hear athletes' views and what they make of the route. We shall, of course, be chatting to some of the athletes at the end. So, of course, stay tuned after the last athlete has completed. We shall be sharing some of those interviews in some of the replays and clips that we produce in the coming hours and tomorrow. As always, you can find us on social media at UIAA Mountains. So the belayers here are part of the unsung heroes who make an event like this happen. The belayers, the judges, the route setters, and the many, many volunteers. So a big thanks and a big shout out to all of them for making this event happen. Couldn't happen without them. We should also extend our thanks to the Korean Alpine Federation and to our own sponsors, Outdoor Research. So, on the women's side, it looks like it's Japanese athlete Haruko Takeuchi about to begin her climb. 34 years old, came 7th last weekend, both in the lead and speed in Cheongsong. And yet she's, despite being 34, she's still a relative newcomer to the sport. Her first time on the World Tour was just last year. She steadies the nerves as she makes these first few moves. It's so important for athletes to just be so calm. This first section of the route, it's what tees them up for the rest of the route. So if they can have a good start, it means they have a better chance of having an overall better climb. So we're just waiting on the men for the next athlete to come up, Yannick Glattard. There seems to be a little bit of a technical incident. Is it a tool that is still left behind or an issue with the hold? It looks like it's an issue with the hold, which they are investigating. That is one of the route setters there, Nathan, who's from Canada. But meanwhile, it's Takeuchi from Japan. And what we are witnessing is her attempt to book her place in tomorrow's finals. And if she can continue to climb with the confidence that we've seen so far of her in this tournament, she could go far indeed. So it looks like on the men's side, the investigations have been complete on that hold. And it is Yannick Glattard who is about to begin. If you have just tuned in, you've chosen a good time, because this is the Swiss master, 22-year-old Yannick Glattard. It's his birthday next week on Tuesday, where he will become 22. Takeuchi, I've just seen out of the corner of my eye, has taken a nasty fall early on. Yannick Glattard, is he going to give himself an early birthday present? Expectations are high. He wasn't in China last week, so we have no way of gauging what his current form is. But I sat next door to him on the bus on the way into Cheongsong this morning, And there was a little twinkle in his eye, shall we say, when I asked him how he was feeling. Very, very strong athlete indeed. Spent a month in Yosemite. So we can expect him to be strong, and we can also expect him to give his fans a hard time. Did well to recover there, very well. He's quite a risky climber. He likes to climb fast, move through the moves very, very quickly. And there are pros and cons to that, shall we say. Very self-assured kick with the right leg there. So unlike sport climbing, you don't get the range of options at all with your feet. There's no pull motion, there's no smearing. Generally, it's just front points only. The old heel hooks were banned a long time ago, and that put an end to athletes from hanging upside down. So he's moving fairly effortlessly up this first section of the climb, but anything can happen. This is where Luna Ladavant came off. So he's got to get the pick in exactly the right place and make sure that body tension is perfect. He's taking some time to find it. He, remember, won't have seen Luna Ladavant come off. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. One can understand why. Getting looks like a little bit of shake in the right leg. He's just not getting it. Needs to change his position. Maybe if he moves the legs, changes the feet position. He's just going to try it again for the third. Was it the fourth time? Really not liking this hold at all. Shakes out the left, pulls up. Can he make, he's looking out left, wondering if he perhaps can make a different move. He has now made several attempts on this very awkward hold, which has only the slightest divot, but it's a side pull by the looks of it. He will not expect to have been stuck here for so long. It's not working out at all for Yannick Glattard. Expectations so high on the Swiss climber. 2 gold places last year in Switzerland, his hometown, and in the US. Changes position. That's looking more secure. Will this be enough to get him over this tricky section? He will be hoping so. And so will his friends. Look at that. He goes cheeky, goes for a handhold. You can, of course, do that. You are allowed to use your hands. Does a rock climbing maneuver there to get past that obstacle. Can he get the 6th clear? He's just not quite high enough. Kicks up with the left foot. Has he got it? He's got it. He will be very happy to have got over that obstacle. And what a cheeky way he got around it. Using a little bit of rock climbing technique there. Putting the tool over his shoulder, one tool in the mouth, and slapping a right hand on that volume. So he will breathe a sigh of relief, but the clock is ticking now. He will have wasted a lot of time clearing that, and if he is to stand a chance, he needs to get a move on. Over to clip number 7 for the Swiss athlete. Just hooks what looks like is a Kruganogi, those small little metal holds. Once you get them, they're absolutely bomber. Not many intellects on this hold, on this route. Now on that hold, you see the red is out of bounds. Got to keep the pick in that little silver groove. And if you see the shake, you can see a little bit of vibration. He's suffering. There is no doubt that Yannick Glattard currently ranked 3rd in the world, is suffering. He's still languishing at the quick draw number 7. Well, he needs to get beyond the 12th quick draw. Making up for it with some moves now. Swings into the 4. Stabilizes the body position, gets into the 9. Reaches with the left. He's climbing well now, he's recovered. Keeping the fans on the edge of their seats with this performance. One minute looking like he is flying up the route. The next looking like there's a big shout there from Gordon MacArthur from Canada. Big cheers. So Maxim Tomilov has the top score at the moment. He got to clip number 13. Big shouts from below. Big shouts from the crowd. He's absolutely flying now. He's just gunning for it. This is where Yannick Glattard comes into his own, makes that 12. If he can get 13, he's in the top 3. But it looks like his time is up. Gives a big wave to the crowd. What a recovery we saw there from the young athlete. Just got stuck on that where Luna Ladavant came off. Yeah, big smile there. He likes to live dangerously, this boy. Likes to live dangerously. Meanwhile, on the women's side, we should see that Cheongsong is putting in an incredible performance. She is extremely young and promising athlete from Korea. Just 16 years old. So he got the look. This is so Yannick in action with that right hand and the glove. He did well to escape out of that Houdini-esque conundrum. Could be forgiven for thinking that he would never have achieved it. But over on the women's side, one of the most interesting athletes here in Cheongsong is Cheongsong, 16 years old, and currently taking sport climbing by storm. She won 4 of the 6 stops last year. So all eyes are on her. Very dangerous with a pair of tools in her hands. Can she replicate the success? She wanted to compete last year, but was too young. And it looks like the clock has just run out there for the Korean. But 13 should be enough to secure her place into the final. Very promising athlete. Keep an eye out for her. Cheongsong from Korea. Just 16 years old. So after all the excitement from Yannick Glattard, my heart rate has calmed down a little bit. In time for the next athlete, another Korean climber, Yonggon Lee. One of the most promising on the men's side in the Korean team. He was 3rd last year, took the bronze here in Cheongsong. Currently ranked 5th overall in the world ranking. Let's see how he takes this next move. Just got to make the clip number 4. Remember, he won't have seen the struggles of Yannick Glattard. All athletes are in isolation before they begin their climb. They only have the 7 minutes that they had looking at the route. So he's taking this slightly differently to Glattard. He's using his tools, which is generally the idea, but you can use your hands if it helps. And you often see many of the climbers with a sport climbing background doing just that. So he reaches up with the left. So Yannick Glattard wanders off. He should have a place in the finals. But Young Gun is off. Young Gun, he wasn't able to pass that high point. He made the tricky move, but it was the next one. So he's managed to hang off that little awkward side pull with the right, reached up with the left. And this is just a very, very awkward hook. And he couldn't make it. He was just a little bit too short. He needed to just reach up a little bit higher. So that will be his semis over. Unlikely to make the finals for him. Now on the left, we have from Switzerland, one of their most promising up-and-coming athletes, Sina Goetz. And what you may not realize is that this girl is battling through extreme pain. Just a few weeks ago, she broke a rib in training. So some moves for her are not just strenuous, not just difficult, they're extremely painful. So she has done so well in this tournament so far, qualifying for the semis. But after Cheongsong last weekend, she could barely stand up on the Monday. She was in so much pain, she told me. Gets the Stein with the left. And kicks up. Gets the clip. Very promising climber, currently ranked #1 on the European Tour. Fair to say she's absolutely smashing it. So, Alexei Dengin is beginning his climb. He will be looking to do better than his performance in Cheongsong, where he had a very disappointing fall early on. He's one of the most experienced athletes, but it's the youngster. Sina Goetz just adjusts her position with the tool. Very dangerous thing to be doing. Can just pop, but she was lucky to get away with that. Just a little slip and then it caught. So she was training, she told me, she was tired, and it was a move where she was really leaning over and super flexed, and there was just so much pressure going into one of her lower ribs that it just fractured. She gets the right, really got to reach over and gets into the 9. Allows herself a little shake of the left hand before moving into the 4. And then in normal circumstances, this should be pretty straightforward for an athlete of her ability. Simply going from the Fig 4s to the Fig 9s. Is she going to give us a masterclass in this technique? So far, so good. Alexei Dengin, I'm just seeing, has just come off his route early on, once again at that sticking point where Luna Ladavant came off. Sina Goetz, slowly but steadily making her way across this very delicate roof section. No dyno moves for her, just all about the body tension, balance. Alexei Dengin is furious. I mean, these athletes, they invest so much time and effort, and this is their moment. For every minute of competition, they have invested hours and hours into training And he just can't hide his frustration there. They are professional athletes, and sometimes that frustration does spill over. Sina Gertz, meanwhile, wasn't able to clear the roof. She is off. Is she happy? It will be telling to see whether her rib is causing her grief. There's a smile there, but it looks like a smile of frustration for the young Swiss athlete, who she unties from the rope. She had the right, the right slipped. It happened moments earlier. These holds are proving tricky for the athletes. Unless you nail it 100% in the sweet spot of the hold, the danger is they pop. It's very, very easy for them to skate off with just a subtle shift of body weight. So meanwhile, on the right hand side, we've just got to retrieve Alexei Dengin's ice axe, and the rope is going to be coming through. So after, on the men's side, we have Nikolai Kuzovlev. Now last weekend's final was conspicuous by his absence. He won 4 out of the 6 stops last year on the tour, and so not making last weekend's finals will have been quite a disappointment for him. So we are sure to see a very, very determined performance from the Russian. On the women's side, it is Ekaterina Vlasova from Russia, also beginning her chance. Her chance to earn a spot in tomorrow's finals. So one of the questions that's come up and one of the comments is, do we have confirmation of the start time for tomorrow's finals? Yes, we do. So we go live tomorrow at 11 AM local time here in South Korea for the speed finals. And it's 2:30 PM local time for the lead finals. So we are looking at a Russian athlete, Nikolai Kuzovlev, one of the strongest performers on the circuit, ranked #1. But he failed to make the finals last weekend. So he will be looking to secure his place and put in a flawless ascent here. So far, so good. Just hangs off the right there. And here is the tricky part, #1. It's almost the crux of the move. So he gets the 4th clip. Let's see how he tackles this volume. Yep, he put his tool up there just like everyone else and discovered there's nothing to put it on here. Second attempt though, he's found something. He's found something, and just with the most delicate footwork and subtle body positioning, he's cleared it. And he doesn't like this hold either. He's discovering that that is the hold that is proving the nemesis of so many climbers. Goes for a reverse hook. He finds the key to unlock the mystery of that hold. So many athletes didn't. And often it is like that for athletes. It is a puzzle. You've got to work it out. Work out the moves, the sequencing of moves. Learn what type of move that hold takes. Some are obvious, undercling, like the one he's on at the moment. Others, you need to work it out. Moves over, gets that high left, matches the hand onto the tool before he's able to place high with the right. So far, so good for Nikolai Kuzovlev. This is the hold where you have to score it 100% in the middle. You can't hit the red. Red is off limits. Oh, and Kozlovlev is off. He's off. Again, a poor performance from the Russian. So unlucky. He got the pick into the groove on that hold, but it just didn't stick. He closes his eyes. He can't believe what has happened again. There's his pick, his right-hand pick. He moves over with the feet and then goes to commit all the body weight to that hold, and it just pops. Just pops. Another of the favourite athletes has fallen by the wayside. One last look up for him. But meanwhile, his teammate, Ekaterina Vlasova, is on the roof. Switching from the 4s to the 9s to traverse this section that is very, very strenuous. Not many of the girls have cleared this. In fact, we haven't seen any of the female athletes top. None of the men have topped either. So it's definitely proving a hard route, these semi-finals.
Just started the competition.
So Vlasova is, again, one of the most experienced athletes on the female side. Former silver medalist. A couple of years ago in 2018, she came 4th on every stop. And what a bittersweet experience that must have been. Failing to make the podium, doing so well, but its 4th place isn't enough. Hangs off the left. Looking good. It's looking good for clip number 13 for her, which may be enough to get her high up in the rankings. Remember, you can check the results. They're updated live on UIAA.results.info. Left leg nearly came off there. So she needs to get to clip number 14 to move into the lead. So far, 3 athletes have made clip number 13. So she should have already booked her place in the finals as she lowers down onto this volume, onto the stone. The place in the finals should be secure. But if she wants to be absolutely certain, she needs to keep going and move on upwards. But the clock is ticking. Very self-assured kick with the left foot. She's climbing very confidently now, very securely. And just 1 foot move away from getting that 14th clip. But it's all over. The time is out. 7 minutes is up, but she will be happy with that. That could be enough to get her into the lead. As always, check the results as they are updated live on UIAA.results.info. Big smile from the Russian. She will be happy with that one. So she didn't do anything wrong here. Just the clock ran out, and there was a call from the judge for her to come down. So on the men's side, who do we have now? This must be Mohammad Reza Safdarian from Iran. So I mentioned earlier that being competition fit is so important, being able to compete when psychologically things are against you. And you could say that things are against Mohammad Reza Safdarian because all his luggage was lost in flight flying here from Iran. His luggage didn't turn up, so he's on borrowed equipment. He's on a pair of boots that are a size too big, which is really, really not ideal. And yeah, he told me earlier that with a little bit of a shrug of the shoulders, there's nothing he could do about it. You've got to work with the tools that you have. Borrowed equipment, borrowed tools, borrowed helmet. He's just got to hope that he can clear through the route today and qualify for the semis. But he's struggling once again at this very, very awkward side pull. There is a little groove in that hold, but it is tiny, and you've got to get your body tension just right, but it looks like he's done that. Still, anything can still go wrong at this point. He needs to be so careful with his balance. We've seen so many athletes come unstuck here. Nikolai Kuzovlev, Alexei Dengin, Luna Ladovant, but he's got clip number 6, and he's looking very, very confident for this 27-year-old Iranian firefighter. Interestingly, his coach is also his boss at the fire station. He's here too, as well as 4 other members of the squad. Big sport in Iran. And Mohammad Reza is a big, big legend in Iran, which you can see why with moves like that. Matches with the left hand and switches to the right tool, swaps hands, and that's how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. Little quick shake, changes the grip on the tool and goes for a little reverse grip. No, doesn't like that. Changes hands, changes tools. Just moves a little subtle move of the left foot there, just to give him a little bit of purchase. Both hands on the tool. Gets clip number 7. So this is where we saw Kuzovlev come off. Shake of the hand. He's making it look straightforward. Very, very confident. So now we can see Mohammad Reza on the right, and on the left is Shin. Very, very talented Korean athlete who's really dominated the last decade of here alongside Maria Tolokanina. Those two have been dominating the last 10 years. An extraordinary performer, Shin. In the last decade, since 2008, she and Maria Tolokanina have shared 63 podiums between them. Tolokanina just has the edge with 33, and Shin has 30. And with climbing like this, you can see why. In Cheongsong last weekend, she really made it look easy, and she was a minute faster, almost a minute faster than Maria Tolokanina. So at the start of today, I would have said that she seemed to be the athlete on form, but it's Tolokanina who had the better performance in the qualifiers. Shin, 39 years old, been competing for many, many years. Not quite getting her feet in there. Just allowing herself a little bit of a shake-up. So it's all over for Mohammad Reza Safdarian. Looks like his time is up. Bit of a smile to the camera. That may be enough to get him into the final. We shall have to wait and see. But let's see how Shin copes with the next section of this route. Very delicate move with the right hand. So in those last 15 years, Unsan has picked up 10 golds, 17 silvers and 3 bronze medals. against Maria Tolokanina's 19 golds, 6 silvers and 8 bronzes. And really the story of the last decade since we have been coming here to Cheongsong has been the story of their duel. Up next is Maria Tolokanina, who will have the edge this year in Cheongsong. Such a beauty, the moves that she does, moves with such effortless ease. She absolutely smashed last weekend. Is she going to be the first female athlete to top the route? It looks like she could be, if she clears this next section. Very big, reachy move for the Korean. The spotlight is now well and truly on her as she moves into the 4. The crowd now are starting to shout. Can she top? Can she be the first to top this route? Moves into the 4. She is now really determined. Second attempt. Can she get it on the 3rd? A little bit of a pause. She's going to change position, try and just subtly change the feet's position. She's going to swap tools. Just matches with that little heart-shaped move. It's quite sweet when you see the athletes do that. 2 athletes against each other. Now, 3rd time. Gets into the swing. No. 4. Clock is ticking. She knows the clock is ticking, but she has to rest. And it looks like her time could be up. She's continuing to climb. No, her time is up. So she made clip number 14, which certainly books her place in tomorrow's final. She would have liked to have topped out on that route. Let's see whether Maria Tolokanina can. But Unsan, she's not smiling from ear to ear, but she's not unhappy either. She now walks off the structure as Maria Tolokanina prepares to begin her ascent in the semi-finals of this UIAA World Cup. There is Unsan on her last move. Absolute magnificent route. This structure is the largest on the circuit, 30 meters high. It's massive. It really is massive. You don't really get a sense of it until you can see it for real. Maria Tolokanina is about to get personal with it, just as another legend of the sport, Korea's Hyung Park, comes out ready to begin his ascent, and he is the last male to climb here. Is he gonna? He looks so stoked, psyched. He's running to the start. He's got a minute, but it's safe to say he's probably not going to take a minute to get up here. He looks so psyched. Big cheer from the crowd below as he begins his ascent now. 3-time world champion. Very, very experienced all-round climber, not just in competition, but alpinism. He's climbed Trango Tower in Pakistan, he's climbed in Alaska. Just moves so confidently. So if you've just tuned in, you are being treated to a masterclass. This Korean athlete will show you how it's done. Just goes into a side pull there with the left, moves over with the feet, and then he's just got to reach up high with that right, which he does seemingly without any effort at all. As he makes clip number 3. Just holding the body position there. The tension is really next level that you have to maintain on these routes. It's where there's so much training comes in. He has his own gym in Seoul, so he's able to train all the time. Just taking his time here at this very, very awkward section. And this has been the nemesis of so many climbers. Just takes his time. This is where Yannick Glatard decided he'd rather do this as a rock climb. You get a good idea there of just how awkward that hold is. It's almost nothing to hold on to, nowhere for your pick to go. But there is a tiny little hook, but you've got to approach it from the side. You can't take it front on. Something that he is probably just discovering for himself, and he's now working out how to take it. With the right and leaning off to the side, can he pull it off? Not on that attempt. Little shake of the left. Just so delicate with the feet. But this move is very strenuous on the arms. You can't hang there forever. It's just almost nothing. Really just balance that you have to hang off there. And he's off. Not a good result at all for Hyung Park. Wasn't able to do it. So he joins the long list of climbers who failed at that point. Just such a tricky, polished hold. And he looks at the pics of his climb as if they're going to give him an answer. That may mean that we won't see Hyung Park in tomorrow's final. He is obviously the local favourite. He knows these holds probably better than anyone. He got the right in, but it looks like the body tension just wasn't in the right place. So it is all over for Hyung. His semis is over. Meanwhile, over the left, we have Maria Tolokhanina making this route once again look like it is a no problem for her many, many years of experience. The final would be extremely unusual if it was absent of her place. But with the move now onto this yellow volume, she should almost certainly secure her place onto the finals. Such a strong athlete, and still only 32 years old, even though this is her 18th World Tour. Unbelievable as that is. Gets the undercling. Very, very solid Stein. Shakes out the arms. Can she get higher than Un Sun Shin? She will be hoping that she can. Gets the 14th clip. Reaches up right, doesn't quite get it with the first, on the first attempt. The clock is ticking for Maria Tolokhanina. Attempt number 2, attempt number 3. Can she get it on the 4th? She can. Just hanging off one arm there. steadies her position. That's how experienced she is. Only a few athletes could get away with something like that, but she is one of them. As she steps up and gets the hook on that stone and moves over to the left. Tolokanina is off. It's all over for Maria Tolokanina. That brings to a close this evening's entertainment. What an exciting and incredible performance of ice climbing here in Cheongsong, South Korea at the 10th edition. There she does. She blows a kiss to the audience, to us here, and that is almost certainly enough to guarantee her place into the final. So over, let's have a look just to see. She gets the uses a bit of a rock climbing move again with her left hand there before her route comes to a close. So now we can have a look at the men's results. We shall be looking at them shortly. But so in the 5th place, YOUNGHYE KWON. 4th, and these are of course just provisional results. You can see them yourself at uiaa.results.info. The 4th is a Yannick Glattard. In 3rd place, the number 007 is France's Nathan CLAIR. In 2nd place, Dmitry Grebenikov. And currently in the top spot is from Russia, Maxim Tomilov, the 5-time champion. So the women's results are still being updated. Remember that they can be half an hour before the judges confer and the final appeals can be made. But provisionally, in 5th place, we got Sung Song. Cha Hyung-sa in 4th place, Ekaterina Vlasova in 3rd, Mei Kotaki in 2nd, and On-sun Shin currently looking like she is in 1st, but of course we will almost certainly be seeing Maria Tolokanina, so those standings will be updated shortly within the next half an hour. So don't forget to follow us on at UIA Mountains and to check out all the behind-the-scenes content we produce. There's loads of stuff out there on YouTube, on Facebook, so check out. And remember that we're going to be going live again tomorrow at 11 for the lead finals. It promises to be an absolutely spectacular showdown. We shall be going live again at 2:30 for the speed. Until then, it's goodbye from all the team here in Cheongsong.